Hello, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you wondering what I'm going to be doing today, I'm going to be teaching myself vector design and starting with a simple top hat logo. To do this, I will be using Adobe Illustrator. I have used Illustrator before in small doses, but I want to be able to use it more effectively and efficiently, so that's what I'm going to be doing here. I'll talk about it a bit later, the outcomes and how I can learn from it, but for a first attempt I feel I did what I set out to do, and once I try to do it again or another logo, I will learn more and become better at it. That's how learning works, really, but you get the idea. So the logo I will be making, I've made before a couple of times actually, but not really vectorized nor professional looking, I suppose. And it'd be a good base to start off with, just like work with something you know and improve upon it. And that's what I've been doing a lot recently, I guess. That's what I do a lot. Every time I go to a new program, I just make something I've made before again, just to have an idea of what I want to make, and then be able to use the tools and learn what the program does to get the outcome I want. For example, the previous program I used was Autodesk Sketchbook, a program I would actually recommend to people starting out in like drawing and stuff digitally because it's very intuitive and free, which always a bonus. And for vector design programs like Illustrator, I would recommend Inkscape, as I've heard good things about it, also free and open source. Programs I'd be using if I didn't have access to Adobe Suite and stuff. Going back on the logos though, I wanted to go for like a long shadow, simplistic, modern look, like you see with lots of apps and logos today. And I want to improve on what I have now with the power of Illustrator and the efficiency you can get from it, as well as the cleanliness and precision. So with Illustrator and vector design, I can make it infinite resolution, so I can put it wherever I want, whenever I want, kind of thing. Not just a 1080p logo that looks fuzzy when you try and put it on somewhere bigger. With that said, let's just get into it and I'll show you my process. Well, I say process, it's more like not knowing what I'm doing for 15 minutes while I learn the interface and how things work. Well, once I have, I then start with the shapes that will eventually form the final product. So I got the top square done, kinda. Um, Beveled the corners so they were not sharp and angly, as that's not what I was going for in the look wise. I'd also tried figuring out how to make the two bottom corners go closer in the middle and the top two corners. And it took a lot of trial and error, but I figured out in the end you could just press scale, or S for scale, like in Blender or other programs, which seems now very obvious, but at the time I was just struggling a lot. And once I had figured it out, I started again, and with a much better idea of what I wanted to do and how to use the program, it was much faster, and I got a much better result than previously. So basically got the rectangle tool, made it the shape I wanted, and then bezeled the edges and shrunk the bottom two corners. I did a similar method for the brim. I started off trying though, doing a line and then rounding off the edges, I think, yeah. But I couldn't get it to match as well as I hoped, so I ended up just using a rectangle tool for that as well and maximizing the bevel so had the same effect, but I had more control over the outcome. A lot of logo design and designing in general it's just tinkering really. But you can see me doing it there as I tried the new method and it works much better for what I was aiming for. Once I finished that top hat logo, I decided that was a good base. I wanted to start again and looked online for more inspiration and decided upon that background that you see there. I also wanted to draw more from the original logo I was remaking this off of, which I put in the top left for reference so you can see how close I get it or what I expand upon. I also experimented more on how I get the shapes I wanted from the logo. You can see I do fail badly a lot, but I ended up on the original method I chose. Once I was happy with the overall shape and feel of the logo, I wanted to add an outline, so I decided on a white outline to add more depth to the logo and to give it more, I don't know, just make it stand out a bit more. As well as like allowing me to experiment with more methods and design ideas. So once I had stopped tweaking the outline and I was happy with the final outcome, I then started on the long shadow portion of the logo. And the method I had learned online was you make a copy of the shape you want to make long shadow of, you move it off the canvas, and using the blend tool and the blend option being smooth distance, it will then create the long shadow effect that you want from this. I'd like to take the time here to ask if you could like and subscribe. It really helps me out and lets me know what you guys like, and also to comment. Things I can improve on, ideas you have for me to do in the future, that sort of thing. I'd love to hear back from you guys. Also, if you want, follow my social media. I'll have them linked in the description, and you can DM me there for any suggestions or just talk. I made a mistake here that when I turned the opacity down to get the shadow effect, the two objects were colliding with each other, so it gave a little bit of a darker tone where they both intersected. So I had to go back and then merge the two shapes together in order to make it a solid colour. I then noticed after merging the two objects that when I turned the opacity down, it gave a weird shade of green. So I then went back in and changed the colour so when it was toned down the opacity, it would give a better colour on the green background. I then noticed that it didn't work as well on the dark grey, so I went and duplicated the green shape to the top of the shadow and then created a clipping mask so that the long shadow would only stay inside the green background. I can still edit the colour as well to make it look better. And so after some final adjustments and tweaks, I feel I had completed the logo and I was very happy with the outcome at the time. And overall, it is better. And in future, I'm going to learn the program better and be able to make more complex things, I suppose, and just improve overall in efficiency and design. So that pretty much wraps it up for the time lapse, and here is the final product. Currently, it is my Discord channel logo, so you should totally join that if you want to see it in action, and if you want to say hi, or I even do commissions out of there if you're interested. That's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.